All right, so let me tell you something that might surprise you. After testing every AI coding tool on the market, I've watched some senior developers who I know totally abandon them, not because they're technophobes, but because they discovered something crucial. When you rely too heavily on AI to write your code, your programming muscles actually start to atrophy. So today I'm diving into some of the real reasons why some professional developers are stepping back from the AI hype. Let's dive into this today. Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thompson. Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps and build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right. So I've been building software for over 25 years. I've learned that maintaining core coding skills requires regular practice, just like any other skill that you use. So a respected developer I know shared his experience of noticing his basic coding abilities declining after becoming dependent on AI tools. When forced to code without AI assistance on personal projects, he found himself pausing, waiting for suggestions that never quite came. So the muscle memory for syntax and implementation patterns had weakened from letting AI handle the implementation details so often. Now, this isn't just one developer of experience. I've actually talked with a lot of developers who are seeing this pattern repeatedly. And it's kind of true as with any muscle, right? So think of it like a calculator dependency. If you use one, you might struggle with mental math when you don't really have it handy. Now, AI coding tools can often provide a false sense of security, and they produce output that looks professional and correct, but can contain subtle bugs or security vulnerabilities. So another senior developer that I know that I've talked with discovered his AI assistant had created an express backend that completely lacks SQL injection protection. So when building mission critical systems, these hidden issues can create ticking time bombs in your code base that might not be discoverable until later in your project and cost you a lot of time. So my teams have caught some AI generated security flaws that would have been catastrophic in production environments. That's why you have to really check, because some of my favorite things that AI will do is when it doesn't know an answer, it'll actually create up a mythical library and then insert it. And you have to actually, it's not until you go to try to do some testing and find that it doesn't even exist. Or what's even more dangerous is it will actually use a library that's outdated and has security vulnerabilities and not be updated to the latest. So the danger can increase when you get less experienced developers that lack the expertise to spot these deficiencies in the generated code. Now, after a long time in the industry, I've learned that a healthy paranoia about code correctness is actually a professional strength. Now, another one of the big problems is AI coding tools sometimes are confidently wrong. And that's one of the problems, is it will confidently create totally non-existent functions or invent sorting algorithms that don't actually sort anything. So one developer reported that their AI assistant cheerfully inserted Python code into a JavaScript file, creating an unholy mess. Now, these hallucinations can waste more time than they save in a lot of cases. Now, they are getting better and better every day, but my team have documented cases where fixing AI-generated hallucinations took longer than if they'd just written the code from scratch. So this creates a frustrating experience when developers spend more time checking AI's work than focusing on actual problems. And this is why some seniors are starting to turn their nose up at AI. Now, that's not what I'm suggesting to do. I think it's a powerful tool that we need to use, but with every new tool, especially, you have to use it with caution. AI doesn't truly understand code. It's generated statistically like patterns without comprehending what exactly they do. Now, when services experience outages or connection issues, developers who've become dependent on AI tools suddenly find themselves struggling. So during a recent major outage, I watched several AI-dependent developers hit a productivity wall while others continued to work unimpeded. So creating this external dependency on a third-party AI service introduces a new potential point of failure in your development workflow. For critical projects with tight deadlines, the additional vulnerability can create some serious business risks. So some developers report that when AI services are temporarily available, they feel almost handicapped in their ability to code efficiently. The best developers maintain their ability to work effectively with or without AI assistance, treating it as a bonus rather than a necessity. Now, if your company has systems that aren't connected, to let us help you out. Because here at Startup Hack, our specialty is connecting systems to help your company work like a well-oiled machine. So check out startuphack.com/Spencer because we can help you out. Now, AI coding tools often struggle with complex multi-file projects where understanding the broader context is essential. Some developers report that AI assistants completely discard the contents of multiple functions when they become too complex. Now, with a lot of experience in building enterprise systems, I found that AI tools perform worst exactly where you need most. most in complex code bases. AI's limited context windows mean it can't see the full picture in the way that an experienced human developer can. Now, AI is getting better at starting to take in like Git histories and things like that, but in doing compares on Git compares, that's where human can really start to see the history and to start to find patterns and code smells in a way that I will struggle to believe AI ever can. So it creates a paradox where AI is most helpful with the simpler tasks that skilled developers can already do quickly. However, it can help increase their productivity by about 10 to 20% is what I'm finding. So the truly complex architectural challenges is often where AI struggles and often where you'll find some suggestions that it gives that are just flat wrong. Now, junior developers who rely too heavily on AI may miss out on the developing fundamental problem-solving skills that come from wrestling with difficult code challenges. I know when I went to college, I only had a handful of books to learn from. I had to really learn what the compiler was doing. I had to really learn what the different algorithms did. I had to really, truly learn it. Whereas a lot of that now gets hidden away and can be done for you with easy lifting. The problem comes is when there's a bug, AI most likely isn't going to be there to help you find those bugs. So several tech leads I've worked with have expressed concerns that new team members who lean on AI too heavily don't build the deep understanding needed for senior roles. So this is something I'm concerned about the next generation of software developers. Now, I hear a lot of you out there already saying, oh, well, don't worry about it because in 5 years, AI is going to do it all for you. I don't believe it. I believe we're going to hit a productivity wall, and I think we're going to hit a point of diminishing returns. So the shortcuts that AI provides can rob developers of valuable learning experiences that come from working through problems methodically. So again, I'm not against using AI, but don't become so reliant on it that you don't learn the principles you need to learn. I've observed that the strongest senior developers are those who develop robust mental methods through years of hands-on coding. So AI tools may be creating a generation of developers who can prompt well, but struggle with first principles thinking about code. Now, the code that AI generates often prioritizes getting something working over creating clean, maintainable solutions. Developers report that AI-generated code frequently lacks the thoughtful structure and pattern consistencies that human developers cultivate. Often, it also doesn't follow design patterns that a human would normally implement because it just ends up producing much more functional code. So in my experience leading development teams, I found that AI tools rarely follow team-specific coding standards and the architectural patterns without explicit promptings and without a ton of extra work. So the inconsistency creates maintenance headaches down the road as AI-generated sections may stand out from the surrounding code. The best code bases aren't just about functional. They're about readability, consistency, and following established patterns to make future changes easier. AI tools optimize for immediate functionality rather than long-term health of your code base, which experienced developers recognize as a false economy. Now, many developers find that they spend so much time verifying and correcting AI suggestions that it negates the efficiency benefits. And this is one of the things I hear from senior developers. Other senior developers I've talked to note that at times working without AI was faster or at least less frustrating than dealing with a confusing sidekick. The mental context switching between writing code and reviewing AI code introduces its own form of cognitive load. There's a context switch that happens there, right? Having built development teams for a long time, I've observed that the most efficient developers establish a state of flow that constant AI sometimes might interrupt. Now, again, I'm not suggesting we don't use AI here. I'm saying that we need to use it intelligently. So we want to create a situation where AI tools can actually help speed up senior developers, but not just to help speed up developers without it creating a crutch and without weakening their development muscles. Now, if your company is interested in building some AI agents, here at Startup Hack, we work and build a lot of AI agents. So again, I'm not dissing on AI here. I want to make sure that we're building it responsibly and intelligently. We're working on a cool project right now where AI is saving hundreds, if not thousands of man hours per month. So AI agents are super popular things right now, and they're really big, and I definitely recommend them, but you've got to build them intelligently. So reach out to us here at startuphack.com/Spencer because we can help you build some for you. Now, software development at its best is a creative problem-solving activity, not just rote code generation. Software developers are not code monkeys. They're actually problem solvers. Some developers find that AI tools push them towards conventional solutions rather than innovative approaches. Now, throughout my career, the most elegant solutions often come from thinking differently about a problem, not from following the most common pattern. I frequently come into a meeting with my developers and say, hey, I'm going to ask a stupid question. Generally, it's making them think outside of the box. AI models are trained on existing code, meaning they're inherently biased towards established patterns rather than novel solutions. This tendency toward the average can subtly discourage the creative leaps that lead to breakthrough approaches in software architecture. Let me say this a different way. AI is going to do something the way you've always done it, but that doesn't always lead to some of the best practices. Have you ever been into a group where you're new in the group and you're like, why are you guys doing it that way? And they're like, well, because that's how we've always done it. That doesn't always mean it's the best way to do it. And bringing in an outside perspective is often some of the best ideas. Now, sometimes AI is helping you find that outside perspective, but sometimes it's actually using some of the broken patterns that you don't want to continue to repeat. Now, developers who use AI most effectively view it as a specialized tool in their toolkit, not as a replacement for their skills. So another senior developer that I've worked with uses AI occasionally, but keeps it fully separate from his code editor to maintain a healthy boundary. The most successful approach I've seen in my teams is treating AI as a consultant whose advice you carefully consider rather than automatically accept. You wouldn't let one developer come in and write all the code for your team and never have anybody review it and just put it straight into production without testing. And yet that's what I hear all the time when I hear people say, oh, software developers are going to be gone in 5 years. After 25 years of building software, I've learned that tools should enhance a craftsperson's abilities, not replace their fundamental skills. The calculator did not replace the mathematician. It expanded it. The distinction between viewing AI as a tool versus a replacement often separates those who benefit from AI from those who become dependent on it. So many developers who've stepped back from AI tools still find specific use cases where they provide clear value without the downsides. Converting between similar formats, optimizing performance critical sections, or explaining unfamiliar code are tasks where AI often can help without creating dependencies. So I use AI a lot of times to go analyze a code base and look for patterns in things, or tell me places that I can work to optimize and improve it, right? I use it like a consultant, not just as a grunt developer, right? So creating personal guidelines around when to use AI versus when to rely on your own skills helps maintain a healthy balance. So some teams implement formal policies about which type of code can be AI generated. I'm a big fan of boilerplate code. And when I say, hey, generate me a class that does X, it'll generate the class, I'll go to put it into place, and then I'll go through and modify it. And it will save me a fair amount of time from just knocking out the code straightforward. So this intentional bounded approach to AI tools helps to maximize your benefit while minimizing the skill erosion and also the quality concerns. So tomorrow's most valuable developers won't be those who rely entirely on AI, but those who maintain strong fundamental skills while using AI judiciously. Throughout tech history, the ability to adapt to new tools while maintaining core competencies has consistently separated thriving developers from struggling ones. My experience leading development teams through multiple tech revolutions has taught me that foundational skills remain valuable even as tools rapidly evolve. Skills that I learned on the 2.4 kernel, Linux kernel that I studied in 2003 in my computer science program are still principles I hold. Now, do I write a whole lot of C++ code? No, I never write C++ code anymore. But those principles that I understand have impacted me as I look at code even today. So developers who maintain their ability to code effectively without AI have a resilience when AI tools change, fail, or reach limitations. This balanced approach using AI as a force multiplier for existing skills rather than a replacement creates truly future-proof capabilities. Now, for those who are starting their software journey in development, focus first on building some rock-solid fundamentals before learning AI tools. And if you want help, we have an awesome coding bootcamp that can help you to get started as a software developer and get you to an intern level quickly. So reach out to us at startuphack.com and we can check it out. Also, if your company needs help with systems that aren't connected, or if you want to build out some amazing AI agents to integrate into your existing systems, reach out to us here at startuphack.com/Spencer because we would love to help you out, and we have some amazingly skilled developers, and I can help you come in and help you architect your systems. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I love it when people tell me, Spencer, you're wrong, because I love to have a great discussion. I'm making my best guesses here, and after a lot of experience in software development, these are my best guesses. Do I have a crystal ball that I can see what's going to happen in 5 years? Absolutely not. Could I be totally wrong? Possibly. Let's talk about it. I love to have a great discussion. So leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and your feelings. Here at Startup Pack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. So check out startuphack.com/Spencer today, and here's some awesome information about our coding boot camps.
Want to become a software developer but don't want to spend 4 years in college and rack up massive student loan debts? Think you need technical expertise to get started? Welcome to Startup Hack, a better way to start your software career without student loans and years without income. One-on-one tutoring tutoring is included so you never get stuck and have guidance through the whole process. No technical experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace and in your own space. Starter Pack has worked with local state agencies in your area to make it so that qualifying students can get the program costs covered entirely and students can start earning while they learn.
Starter Pack's .NET Coding Bootcamp was a game changer for my career. As someone with no prior programming experience, I was initially intimidated by the idea of learning to code, but the instructors at Starter Pack broke down complex concepts into easy to understand lessons and provided hands-on projects that really cemented my understanding. The curriculum was comprehensive and up to date and got me ready for my first job. What really set Starter Pack apart was the focus on practical, real-world skills. Thanks to Starter Pack, I landed my dream job as a .NET developer within weeks of graduating. I went from knowing nothing about code to building professional-grade web applications in just a few intense months. If you're looking to break into .NET development or level up your coding skills, I cannot recommend Starter Pack enough.
Complete our 3-month coding bootcamp, gain hands-on experience, and land a paid internship. With 2 years of experience, on average, our graduates are making over $80,000 per year. The 3-month program includes technologies from Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. No debt, just a quick path to earning. Check out starterpack.com to code your future and start today.